You know, these days, I find myself spending a lot of time online, and you probably do too. And for me, that's mainly around YouTube and on Twitter. And about 10 days ago, I saw somebody on Twitter write these notes. He said, look, if you come out of this time of self-isolation with without learning a new skill, then there's really something wrong with you. And boy, you should have seen the responses. Or it's probably better that you didn't see the responses because not many of them are very, very polite. But I read that and I thought, that's a good idea. And I should come out of this period of coronavirus with some new skills. Maybe you've had some similar thoughts. But then I said to myself, well, what skills could I learn? And immediately I thought, based on my YouTube consumption, I said, poker. I could learn to play poker. It looks fun. It looks easy. I could be a professional poker player. They win some money, they lose some money, they have some laughs. What a life. So I watched a video. The video was called Learn to Play Poker in 5 Minutes. Now, I didn't watch the full 5 minutes of the video, but it is easy. The rules are very, very simple. Not very hard at all. I could be a poker pro. But then I had the thought in my mind, I said, how many of these poker pros have won a lot of money and lost it all? So I did a search on that. And oh boy, one guy won $30 million and lost it all. Another guy won $28 million and he lost it all. Someone else won $25 million and lost it all. So I decided, look, I don't need that stress in my life and I'll need another skill to develop. So what would be a good second choice? Well, baking bread. Seems like everybody wants to bake bread these days. It looks easy. I watched several videos. You can make ciabatta, sourdough, white bread, hamburger buns. And it's all the same recipe. It's flour, it's water, it's yeast, a little bit of salt, and there's no need to knead. It's no knead bread. The recipe is simple. You mix it all up in a bowl, covered with plastic, and then 8 or 24 hours later, you come back, 8 to 24 hours, and nature has done its magic. So I thought, well, I could learn to bake bread. But then I said, I'm looking at the news, there's no yeast available anywhere in the world. And by the time we're done this coronavirus, COVID-19, well, everybody's going to know how to make bread. So what's the commercial opportunity? So I discounted that. And I thought, well, what else might I do? What might be another skill? Maybe it's not even commercially viable. And it was really odd. When I was researching my bread making capabilities, a video came up in the recommendations from YouTube. You know how they come up with recommendations, YouTube? And the recommendation was a video called The Best Way to Clean and Cook a Squirrel. Yeah, the best way to clean and cook a squirrel. The guy's got a YouTube channel, Cast Iron Cooking, if you're interested to check it out. Well, that was weird. And it's weird because I've got a nuisance squirrel at my home. And this squirrel's always running back and forth in my rain gutter, making a lot of noise. I said, how is Google and YouTube know I've got a nuisance squirrel? But then I realized, you know what? Google knows everything. They know absolutely everything. But I think they were sending me a message about how I could knock off my squirrel, get rid of my nuisance squirrel. So I just put that aside. But that would be a valuable skill to have to get rid of nuisance squirrels in my neighborhood. But I forgot about it. But then, as fate would have it, I stepped out on my step. I was enjoying the fresh air. And who showed up? The nuisance squirrel. And he looked nervous. He looked at me suspiciously. I think he might be snooping on my Wi-Fi. He might be watching now. So I decided I'd play it cool, I'd relax. And I actually called up one of Lukas's Instagram videos. I find Lukas's voice is calming and soothing and relaxes me. And it did the same for the squirrel. The squirrel seemed to relax and chill out, which gave me an opportunity. I made my move. I tackled the squirrel and we tumbled over the step. And I had him on the ground. And I don't know if you know this, but squirrels have very sharp claws, or at least mine did. And he dug his claws into me, but I had him on the ground. I don't know if you know this, but squirrels have very sharp teeth, or at least mine did. And he bit my hand, and then he ran up my sleeve, and he got to my chest, and he bit my chest. I grabbed him, I held him out, and he bit my hand, and he ran up my sleeve, and he bit my chest. I grabbed him again, and I held him apart. And I was going to take care of this nuisance squirrel finally. But then I thought to myself, look, what am I doing? I'm privileged to live where I do. We're all privileged to live where we do. We don't need to eat squirrels or kill squirrels. We're going to get through this COVID-19 thing, and we'll survive just fine. And we need to treasure every moment. Life is fragile. So as I'm thinking about this, the little squirrel squealing his head off, just making a ton of noise. I'm shaking him by the tail so he can't get his balance and bite me again. So I just gently lied him on the ground. I laid him down, and he looked like he was going to spring at my throat. But I just held him off. And I gave him a little salute to say, hey, everything's good with me. And he gave me a little salute back. All right, I think it was a salute that he gave me back. And we went on our way, and we enjoyed our day. So now it's a few days later, and I was outside today, and I saw my new friend, and he looked at me suspiciously. He might still be sniffing my Wi-Fi. But I think we'll get through this time, and we'll all get through this time of COVID-19 together. And we need to treasure every day.